Second shot of the PPR podcast for the Saturday right before the Super Bowl. Jen, or as we know her on the Pick'em, Go Luck Yourself, comes back to the podcast to talk the potentials for Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and MVP for the 2018 NFL season. We also chat a little about our personal games of the year. The big game is right around the corner. Let's have some fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pigskin Pick'em 2018 something or other roundup rundown. I still can't remember the name of this podcast, but either way, we are coming at you pre-Super Bowl here with a previous guest that we've had on here before, and that is Jen Carlson. Jen, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
I'm just like super excited that I get to peek out and talk about football.
You're sitting in second place right now. You don't have much of a shot at first. You have to kind of fend off the other lady that we have here in the pro football pick'em, and that is Steel Curtain. Steel Curtain sitting back there at third. What do you think? I mean, you don't have to tell us what the strategy is, obviously, because I don't want you to give away anything. But I mean, are you going to really give it some thought and go with your gut, or are you going to really strategize, try and figure out how to fend off and keep that second place? Or are you just like, hey, it's a game?
So, like, I think everybody already knows who's going to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to pick that team and just see how it shakes out.
Brilliant.
You know? And if that means Steel Curtain, she goes in and she picks the other team and that other team wins, then bully for her. Mm-hmm. That's fine. I mean, she'd win by 6 points. So, I mean, third place isn't bad.
No, considering that was my spot for at least 10 years. All right? At least 10 years.
You're at 6.
Yes. Trust me. I know. Like I said, I used to do this thing and I bragged. Top 3, at least for 10 years. Okay, well, let's talk about some football. I mean, got the big game coming up here Sunday. And it's the Patriots versus the Rams. From what I understand, though, there's quite the expected flu bug going around. Super Bowl fever might hit everybody. About 17 points. How many millions of people are going to be struck?
Like the craziest article. It's so 17.2 million workers may be hit with the Super Bowl fever come Monday morning, which is so funny. It speaks to our workplaces when, I get this email from Kronos and you're like, oh, Kronos. And
yes,
it's like, here we
I knew immediately. I was like, oh, come on. It's a freaking time company.
We're old.
Gosh. So tell me, have you ever, real talk here, okay?
Yeah.
Real talk. Have you ever called off after a big sporting event?
Yes.
Okay. Now, was it recently, like last year or anything? Or
no.
This year?
No.
2019?
No. So it was before I had the job that I have now, because I love the job I have now and I respect the job I have now.
Okay.
Not that I haven't respected the other jobs that I've had.
Sure.
But I have put in for time off after sporting events. In fact, every year I take the first day and a half of the NCAA basketball tournament off because I wouldn't get anything done. I just want to sit and watch basketball and drink beer and look at my brackets. So I do that. I called off once, and it was Ohio State played Florida in the national championship. I mean, this was like 2007, maybe 2008. It was a very long time ago. And obviously Ohio State lost, and I got incredibly drunk, and there was no way I was going to make it to work the next day. So
hangover city.
Yeah, I have requested time off after the Super Bowl, but that's only when the Steelers have been in the Super Bowl. So like when they played the Packers and lost to the Packers, when they played the Cardinals and beat the Cardinals, and then when they played the Seahawks and they beat the Seahawks in Detroit. Like that was Jerome Bettis' last game. So I requested those 3 days off.
You thought ahead. You're like,
yes.
Okay, I feel you there.
Either way, I wouldn't want to face anybody the next day.
Yes, I understand.
But that's only if my team makes it there. So, but I mean, this time, no, we don't do any Super Bowl parties. It's just me and my husband, and he doesn't like sports, so he likes the commercials.
Sure.
So we do the commercials and we make fun of the halftime show, and then
what's going on this year? It's freaking
Maroon 5.
Yes, that's right. To which they said we don't want to talk about it, and didn't do a press conference. They were
the NFL canceled it because everybody is going to ask them about the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, which we don't need to get into that, but not them actually accepting it and going for it when Rihanna and Cardi B and Jay-Z, all these people are saying, you bring Colin Kaepernick back into the league, then we'll consider doing your halftime show. And then Maroon 5 was just like, yeah, whatever, we'll do it. But then Travis Scott, who is like, I'm not into pop music
I saw the name
or anything. Mm-hmm. Like, I know he's huge. And so he said, I will join Maroon 5, but NFL, you have to join me in donating $500,000 to an inner city organization that helps inner city youth.
Well, that's interesting.
So that's what they're doing. But Travis Scott still got blowback from all of these other people who, are kind of like, well, you're taking the easy route out. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the halftime show is just I just sit there and I just am horrible and I say the worst things about everything. And so that's the enjoyment I get, is because I make myself laugh.
Okay. All right.
I'm my own best audience.
Hey, so whatever works. Well, we'll just talk about some awards. So you were talking about this award ceremony.
Yeah, they call it the NFL Honors. Okay. And I think they wanted to compete because I think the NHL has been doing this for years, where they give all of their awards out at a fancy ceremony in Las Vegas every year after the season. And the NBA started doing it too. So yeah, they get somebody, and I think this year it's Steve Harvey. So he's going to mess up whoever wins MVP. So they give away all of the awards at once, and so it's just yeah, I just give me a list. I don't need to watch your stupid awards show. And so I think Tom Brady won MVP last year, and he was playing in the game, so he wasn't even there to accept the stupid award. So it's just who cares?
I guess we would start. Did you want to say you wanted to start with coach?
So there are a few that when you kind of look at it, you take a step back and you're like, okay, well, let's think about all these coaches. And it's okay, well, Matt Nagy, he was the coach of the Bears. It was really his first season, and he came in, turned that team around. Mitchell Trubisky was a machine. They got Khalil Mack. They were an offensive and a defensive force to reckon with. So Matt Nagy did a great job. Okay. Andy Reid, look at what he's done with Kansas City. Yeah. The man is a genius.
Was it? Now, I get on social media a lot, but somebody had put on there, and I swear it was on one of your posts, that he is the human representation of second place now.
Yeah,
somebody saying,
which is so sad, but it's true.
Yeah, he does a dang good job.
He does. He makes it almost all the way, and then something happens.
Well, that as I don't know, as unfortunate as that is, that doesn't mean it should not be considered a detriment.
No.
Because you are, taking a team and consistently turn in those results, I guess I would say.
Yes. Look at what he did. He got rid of Alex Smith, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, Alex Smith was the reason your whole team turned around. And he's like, no, I got this. Mm-hmm. And here comes the Raging Cajun, that's what I call him, Patrick Mahomes. And it's just holy crap. It's a totally new dynamic team. And while you've lost Kareem Hunt due to the domestic abuse things, they pick up this, I think his name was Jamal Williams, as a running back. And he just took the place of Kareem Hunt. And it was just they didn't skip a beat.
Didn't miss him.
It was Tyreek Hill was amazing. Travis Kelce's amazing. That defense, Eric Berry was back. Like, the whole thing was amazing. So it's just like, yes, I can totally see Andy Reid winning it. But honestly, the coach that I really think is going to win is Frank Reich, who last year was one of the offensive, I think he was offensive coordinator for the Eagles. And so he was on that team that beat the Patriots in that amazing Philly, whatever special.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go to the Colts and you've got Andrew Luck, who's been out for so long. And it's like, can he even play? And he was like the quarterback whisperer to Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
And the Colts, they did it. They made it to the playoffs. They looked amazing. So it's like, I think Frank Reich should win Coach of the Year, hands down.
What's next then? What do you want to move to next?
I think to kind of tie into Coach of the Year, you've got your comeback player of the year, which, JJ Watt could totally be considered. He was out. He got injured in the first game of the 2017 season, missed the entire season. Of course, he did so much for the city of Houston with his philanthropic help with the hurricane relief. Mm-hmm. He came back. He was awesome. He played the entire season this year. Adrian Peterson is another person who kind of was MIA last year. He started off on the Saints after, being cut by the Vikings. And then he ended up over in Arizona and just kind of forgotten about. And then he shows up in Washington and he did a hell of a job.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. He had over 1,000 yards, averaging 4.2 yards per carry. So
he did a great job. But honestly, Andrew Luck totally deserves, and he's probably hands down going to win that award.
Yeah,
so
he comes back from this shoulder. It was a shoulder surgery.
It was a shoulder neck sort of thing. I don't know, but I mean, he traveled to Europe to get medical attention. So it's just he took everything very seriously.
Yeah,
I like that guy.
I was going to say, I remember you saying you enjoyed you like old Andrew.
Yeah, and he's just a good dude. So I was happy to see that he did as well as he did this season.
People were worried that he's not going to be the same. He's not. This is something that is going to take him and change the way that he plays, because it was pretty extensive surgery from what I understand, and extensive recovery as well. But yeah, you're right. Hands down, I would have to agree with you there too. Andrew Luck. I always like seeing the Colts succeed. I didn't think that they had enough of a team around them.
I didn't either, but look at Eric Ebron, who came over from the Lions. I mean, Jack Doyle is Andrew Luck's man. It's his tight end. He played tight end with him in college, and they're on the Colts together. But then Jack Doyle was hurt, and Eric Ebron stepped in, and it was just like, oh my God, it's like magic.
Yeah.
And it was watching them near the end of the season was so much fun. I had as a suffering Steelers fan this season, that was enjoyable to watch.
That was a bright spot. All right.
Yes. So,
all right.
I'm going to say Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So for me, there's two people to choose from. One of them, your guy, Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
An egotistical jerk up there in Cleveland.
Brushing it off his shoulder right now. He has no worries about what you think of him.
No, he doesn't. He does, and that's why I like him. He doesn't care.
No.
Like, and the pure love he's shown for Hugh Jackson, so great.
Oh my gosh. Is that what it was? That was a longing look of love. Like, yes. Oh, I miss you so much, sir.
I've missed you, Hugh. You were the best coach I ever had. No, I mean, Baker did a hell of a job. And imagine what he could have done if Hugh would have started him from the get-go, which, You're
just echoing what I've said over and over here.
It's so sad.
And, I mean, I wanted to... This kid... Man, let me pull up his stats here real quick, because I have...
he broke records. He was freaking amazing.
I was looking just to see, there was one record that I saw that he had hit, and I was like, could you just imagine what this kid could have done if he started the season? Because he broke some kind of a record, and I was like, I don't know if it was the most touchdowns for a rookie. That can't be. Because,
I think it was touchdown passes by a rookie, I believe.
Okay. And I was like, he would have crushed that record. Yeah. He would have crushed it if he would have started out at right at the beginning of the season. But listen, okay, I can only champion that so far because, hey, Cleveland's had some problems with quarterbacks.
Yes.
And when you look at that and you say, hey, throw the new guy in first game, you're like, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Please don't do that. I was very happy that they went with, Tyrod Taylor. I was like, okay, this guy's got a little bit of experience. He's been on the field. You don't throw Baker out there to the wolves. And of course, our first game was against Pittsburgh.
Oh, that was a horrible game.
I mean,
the weather was crap. The kickers were awful. I mean, it ended in a tie. It was the grossest football game I have watched in years.
I think them keeping him on the sideline as long as they did was fine with me. And I have a feeling we'll be revisiting when he first got thrown in here in a few. But
yes, maybe.
But okay, so Baker Mayfield. Who else?
I got to give it to Saquon Barkley.
Oh, the running back for the New York
the Giants. And
yep.
I mean, I feel bad for him because he's, on the Giants. They're hot garbage. Eli Manning is a shell of his former self. But I mean, he ran all over everyone this year, and he could not be stopped. So I would totally give him the Rookie of the Year.
Imagine that guy on a team that has an offensive line. I mean, this is a running back.
Oh yeah,
that is dealing with an offensive line that cannot block and results in Eli Manning going down. I think at least close to 3 or 4 times, maybe more than that a game. If you had an offensive line, which I'm sure that's what they're going to focus on in the offseason.
They should.
That can block. I mean, Saquon Barkley is going to just go off. And you have a quarterback, Eli Manning. It just blows my mind the fact that he suffered as bad as he did with a running back. You should be able to pass as long as you want to because the threat of play action or whatever.
Yeah.
The defense should have been like, okay, run. And Eli Manning should have been completing things all day, all night. But of course you have no offensive line to block for you.
No.
It's just, be ready because this is a rookie who just went insane this year. And if they build stuff around him, he's going to be Hall of Fame material.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. So
they just got to get a new quarterback in there, and there you go.
Okay, what's next?
So I got hands down MVP. I mean, can we just all agree it's Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, I will agree. I will absolutely 100% agree. That man,
he's just wonderful, and everything he did this season, he had a few off moments, but I mean, the man is amazing, and he's just beginning. So
this is second year?
Yes. And it's just like, holy cow, you're just going to do well.
Let me look and see here. Fourth quarter comebacks. He had 2 this year.
That's awesome.
According to Pro Football Reference. And for a second year, 2 fourth quarter comebacks.
I mean, the man is a machine, and he's still a puppy. So, I mean, he's still got room. And you think about all the weapons around him, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And that team's only going to get better. So I can't wait for this reign of Patrick Mahomes. Now, granted, it's probably going to turn into a situation like it did in the NBA with me, and like when Steph Curry first came into the league, and I'm like, oh, look at him. He's so cute and little, and he shoots threes, and he's awesome. And now it's like, I hate the Golden State Warriors. But but for right now, I cherish everything about the Kansas City Chiefs, and I wish they were my team. So I love watching them, and I was so sad that they didn't make it into the Super Bowl. I wanted a Rams-Chiefs rematch.
It was a rematch, wasn't it? They faced each other earlier in the year. I'm just trying to find out what the average score was, like points per game for the Kansas City Chiefs, because
it started off high, but near the end of the season, they dropped. Like their output dropped, not significantly, but it was a good amount.
Yeah, they were. Let's see here. Wow, man, I don't think they scored less than. They didn't score less than 20. They didn't score less than 20. That's wonderful.
Crazy.
Yeah, they the lowest scoring game that they had was 20. Yeah, 26. So they won against the Arizona Cardinals 26-14, which is that. I remember going into that game going like, oh my gosh, Arizona is going to get destroyed. And it turns out to be the lowest scoring game that the Kansas City Chiefs have. What a segue time. We're segueing right into our best games of the year.
So I've got two honorable mentions.
All right, let's hear it.
First one was, I believe it was week 15. Yeah. Okay. Steelers beat the Patriots. And that was just because I hate the Patriots and my Steelers finally beat them. It was too little, too late, but whatever. As long as Tom Brady loses, I'm a happy person.
That's right.
It was not a great game, but at least Tom Brady lost.
I hate Tom Brady too. So,
God.
I find very few times that I want to root for the Steelers. And it's very, very few. And it's easily when you guys go up against the Patriots.
Gosh. So anyway, yes, the Steelers beating the Patriots, to me, that's like, yes, that was a good, it wasn't a very good feeling game. It was just good to know that they won.
That's right.
And then another, and I think this probably is one of your favorite games of the year. Mm-hmm. It was, what was it, week 3, week 4?
I think it was. I think it is week
3. Mm-hmm. Yes, the Cleveland Browns playing on Thursday Night Football, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a horrible game, but I'm still going to watch it.
Against the Jets.
Against the Jets, I'm like, this is a horrible, horrible game, and I'm like, oh my God, the Browns they're in it. The Browns are in this. Holy crap!
It was Mayfield. Well, not Mayfield. It was the big showing of Darnold. They thought Sam Darnold was going to be showcased here. Tyrod Taylor gets hit.
Yes.
And
it was a bad hit too.
Yeah, gets a concussion. So they sit him down. Now here's Jesse Starcher sitting at his desk, and he knows that the Browns just put Baker Mayfield in. I'm like, okay, I've got to figure out a way. And luckily, I think it was being broadcast on. I think they were showing Thursday games on. Well, it must have been the NFL Network, if I remember right.
They were showing on NFL Network and Fox. And then if you had Amazon, you could also watch it on Amazon.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to watch. I've got to figure out a way to watch this game. So, Baker Mayfield comes in. We're down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. The Browns.
It was like 14-0 out of the gate.
The Browns are down. Surprise, surprise. It's 635 days since the Browns have won a football game. Okay? That long. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, the beers are on the line. There have been beers sealed away, just chilling in this fridge, waiting to be released if the Browns were able to win a game. Baker Mayfield comes out and brings the Browns back. And then when the game is finally over, it was what, 21? I had the score right in front of me.
21-17.
21-7. It was a nail biter too. And there was, I could just remember the crowd going nuts. There was a possum involved. I don't know if you saw Rally Possum.
Oh, yeah. There was the Lucky Possum.
The Lucky Possum was there. I think I clearly was going to be my pick. Was going as soon as you said favorite game or best game of the year, I was like, well, that's going to be Baker Mayfield making his showing up at New York or playing against New York and actually winning the ball game, coming back and winning the game. So
I stayed up for that entire game. My husband even stayed up for that entire game. He had fallen asleep, and I was like, it's 11 o'clock. Do you want to go to bed? You can go to bed, but I'm going to finish watching this game. And he's like, are the Browns winning? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I want to see this.
Oh, he was actually going to be present for our victory.
He's like, oh, wait, I want to see this happen. And then it happened. And I'm like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Yay.
Awesome. Yeah.
Everybody gets free Bud Light. All right.
All right, so that obviously you can't put the Browns at the top here. You've got to have another game.
My number one game was the game that was the most hyped game of the entire regular season. It was supposed to take place in Mexico City, but the stadium field was wrecked by a Shakira concert the weekend before. The turf was it was beyond jacked up. So they tried to put new turf in, didn't happen. So they canceled it and they moved it to LA. It was the Rams and the Chiefs in week 11. Oh, it was the first game to feature dual 50
pointers. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Because
that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. This was this game. I don't have an antenna. If I can get it digitally, if I can get it online or something like that, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But this happens Monday night, right? This was a Monday night game.
Yes.
I do a comic book podcast on Monday, so I can't really watch anything, even if I wanted to try. And I'm sitting there, I'm doing this podcast, and I'm watching. All I'm doing is watching the app. Like, all I can do is just watch the app. And this is the first time where I had to, I would refresh every 2 minutes, and the score would continue to go up. And
Yes.
I was like, what is going on? No, this can't be. And there's just back and forth. So I assume you had a chance to watch it, or?
Oh, I was so excited. I even left work like a half hour early so I could get home, do everything I do after work, eat dinner, or get stuff ready for the next day. So I could sit down and uninterrupted watch this game. Mm-hmm. And it's everything that an offensive person wanted to see in a football game. There was zero defense. And I mean, you're talking about Aaron Donald and this Rams defense, which has been really good, but it's just like they did not show up. Mm-hmm. And it was just back and forth, score. I loved every second of it. And I was so sad when it ended. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's over, but maybe keep our fingers crossed. This is going to be a rematch in the Super Bowl, and maybe Kansas City will win this time.
There's a few times that a football game can live up to the hype that it's given. This was it. This was a shootout. This was these teams going for the throat every single time. I want to pull up the game here real quick just to see how many points were scored in the fourth quarter. That would be the most of the game, because there was the Kansas City Chiefs score 21 in the fourth quarter. The Rams score 14, and they are able to outlast the Chiefs by 3 at the end of that game. I mean, that's just the fourth quarter.
God, it was so good.
We got to talk about the yards, too. Let's just take a look and see how many yards total was put up. 546 for Kansas City, 455 for the Rams. This was that is what? Is that like is that 1,000 or 999? Hold on. Siri, what's 546 plus 455?
The answer is 1001.
Oh, Siri says it's 1001. So here we go. I mean, it just gets it by 1 yard and eclipses 1,000 yards in the whole game. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. So
no,
I agree 100%. I will set Cleveland and New York Jets to the side and let this one sit atop as the best game of the year. Any other topics or anything else you'd like to talk about before we move on?
I'm just sad football's over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now you have to sit with Matt and watch Walking Dead or something.
No. Show's so gross. So gross. That show just makes me I'll look up and I'll be like, nope. And I just go back to looking at my phone.
I will pass. I think what we'll do here is we'll close out on that. I think that you already said you don't have a whole lot planned. You're just going to be hanging out at the house.
Yeah, this is the one night that we're we plan the worst food ever, and watch it, and then I get really sad for the next couple of days because there's no more football, and then he gets really happy because
football.
He gets the TV back. The nice TV back.
Nice.
So.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got to get back on here before the year ended.
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun, and I've loved being in this pick'em. I was so sad that the group that I had been in decided not to do it anymore, and so I'm I'm just going to join Starter's group, and it's been awesome, and I just love it. So thank you.
How did you do against your buddies that you left? I mean, were you always were they better than us? I guess is the question I'm asking. Did you have no problem?
There were only 10 of us in this other league, and we would trade back and forth, but I'd usually finish in the top 3. Not to be a humble brag or whatever, but yeah. And some people would just give up halfway through the season. They'd be like, well, it's hard to manage this in a fantasy league. I'm like, no, it's not. It takes 5 minutes.
That's
Shut
right.
up and pick your games.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get on out of here. Jen, I want to thank you again for coming on here. Glad you got to come on here and talk some football with me. I'm ready for the big game. You're ready for the big game. Good luck to you. I hope you keep that second spot.
Thank you. I do too.
And you can, but no.
There's always next year.
That's right.
I was just getting warmed up.
That's right. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Jen. I'm Jesse. We'll talk to you there probably next week after the Super Bowl. So keep an ear out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.